What is up, everybody? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. That should be better with sound. Again, come on in. Welcome. Sorry, I was under the weather, so just getting back. So come on in. What is good? Well, I'll tell you what's not good. Things in Letcher County are not good. They haven't been good for quite some time. And the best way to sort everything out is you go back to the beginning. But for today's purposes, Letcher County, Banks, Pratt, what's going on there? I will get right into that. But first, Jeremy, who I talked about in my last episode, Sturgill. There are two separate Jeremys, and I want to make sure this is very well known. The Jeremy that I was referring to, who has the wife that they promote their, OnlyFans, and his wife is the stepdaughter of Ben Fields. That is not the same Jeremy as the Mark Energy LLC. And so I had talked with Amanda Spangler briefly and wanted to make sure that this was very clear, as it should be. So Amanda's awesome, by the way. But yes, so just to make sure that there is a Jeremy, he's promoting his wife's, OnlyFans. That would be Ben's stepdaughter, is not the same Jeremy that was managing the mines of Mark Energy. Mark Energy was founded in 2019, and those are two different Jeremys. So very important to make sure that that is 100% specified, corrected. So it was actually interesting listening to Amanda break it on down when she'd said that, that Mark guy who, obviously in my last episode, I told you guys all about him being an accountant. And she was like, that was just who our representative was. And we had no idea who he was. He was never met by anyone in the company, our company, or affiliated with us. Imagine our surprise when the hometown newspaper ran this article and the calls my husband and I start receiving. So it's like anytime, and I know what she's talking about, when you have affiliates that are supposed to be like, you get assigned certain, when someone starts an LLC, it's just to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. And she's like, we had no idea. We've never met the person. And she's like, imagine our surprise when it's like, holy shit, this guy was like running a drug prostitution ring, right? She's like, so I was like, wow, yeah. But, so, yep. And she said she even realized it when she was watching it. She's like, oh, I see, yeah, Jeremy, this kid, that is who's married to, Fields' stepdaughter, and yeah. So, but yeah. Okay. Now, let me grab, again, what is up, everybody? Just wanted to get that out because this is about to get real wild. Dude, this 23-year-old who I was trying to say, hey, she could have lived in an outside house, not with Banks. Banks, remember, he's your prosecuting attorney. He hadn't gone to work, but 18 out of 37 months, was never there. I put in some FOIA requests to get some, I want to see some pay stubs from some other people, some salaries. But here, some sources close to this whole, I'm going to say case or dealings in Letcher County. Pratt here, Taylor, she had taken it upon herself to put herself on his will, on Banks's will, and attempted to kick out and throw out Banks's mother, who was living with him at the time that his mother was helping provide care for him during a lot of his life. And here, this Taylor Pratt moves in, somehow manages to get with her mother power of attorney. I think it's Pratt's mother that has power of attorney over Banks. And Taylor Pratt was tossing out Banks's mom. Yeah. Let that sit in for a second there. According to sources close there, the Banks was, the DA, yep, prosecuting attorney. Banks, Edison Banks, yep. He has always been a status quo type of guy, silently supporting the corruption while acting like he has nothing to do with it. So typical. But I wanted to look into how Kentucky runs their shenanigans over there, because I'm not sure if you guys know this, but Kentucky doesn't have magistrates, or they do, but they don't handle court cases like Ohio does. All right. So I went back to see when, in fact, the sheriff became sheriff. And November 7th, 2018, there would be a complete almost overhaul except for a couple positions. So only the circuit and district judges remained. The county surveyor, the county attorney, the coroner, and the Commonwealth's attorney and the county clerk. Those are the only people that stayed once the election happened in 2018. And in 2018, in November, because of the election, there would be a new judge, executive, 5 new magistrates, a new property valuation administrator, that's the PVA, a new circuit clerk, and a new sheriff. And that would be where Steins comes in. In District 5, I wanted to look into who was District 5 for this magistrate. And that would be Benny McCall was unopposed in District 5. And I wanted to take a look at how much money Benny was making and the different positions that he had with this area with Letcher County. I'll go over that a little bit later. But in the sheriff's race, circuit court bailiff Mickey Stein, so he was the circuit court bailiff. Then he's running for sheriff, and he was running as a Democrat. He defeated Chief Deputy Barry Engel by a vote of 4,484 to 2,952. Engel was running as an independent. And then your Republican, Hammonds, he pulled in 764 votes. So I'm kind of confused here because I have to say something. 3, 5, 8, let's say 9,000 votes. I swear there's 35,000 people in Letcher County. So only 9,000 people voted out of a possible 35,000. So Mullins, though, he was the district judge that, when Steins comes in 2018, so he would have begun January of 2019. So I wanted to look at what was going on. Okay, January or 2019, and you got 20, 21, 22, 23, and then boom, here you have this incident in 2024. Okay. So does that sound about right? About 9,000 people voted out of the 35,000 in Letcher County. That was for the sheriff's spot. So I went back to a 2010 incident article. And I'm going to pull it up here. And then I'm going to bring us back to 2024. So let's go like this. And I'm going to share. Come on in, Hector. 2010. We have an ex-judge. You guys voting for judges and sheriffs are so important. It's so important. All right. The Mountain Eagle. Let's make this big as possible so you guys can see it and you guys can hear me in the background. I'm going to bring a pretty big one today. Again, thank you guys so much. We got Freebird giving out 5 memberships. We got Yuri's math teacher giving out 5 memberships. Cyber Ninja's been a member for 14 months. Shake it all the way down. Let me make this as clear as possible. Okay. Sentencing is set for next month in Lexington for a former Letcher Circuit Court judge who was at the center of a public corruption scandal here more than 17 years ago. What? Larry D. Collins, who became the first sitting circuit judge to be indicted in Kentucky when he was charged with accepting bribes in 1992, pleaded guilty on March 25th on charges of making unauthorized purchases on the debit card of a former employer. The nonprofit organization provides outpatient surgery free of charge to people who cannot afford health insurance and who are not eligible for state or federal assistance. Collins, 55, was arrested March 31st, 2009, and charged with 3 counts of theft by unlawful taking, more than $300. And the 3 counts of fraudulent use of a credit card. He was also charged with being a convicted felon in possession with a handgun. Collins is accused of using his employer's debit card over a 3-year period for his own personal gain without permission. An arrest citation written by Officer E.S. McCrackard of the Lexington Fayette Urban County Police did not list monetary amounts, but says the total was well over 100 in 6 months. Oh, God, I'd hope. Otherwise, what's going on here? The citation says that during the execution of a search warrant at Collins' home, a revolver was found under the bed in his bedroom. A lower receiver for a shotgun was also located with no barrel, blah, blah, blah. Collins assumed the office of Letcher Circuit Judge in January of 1992 after defeating longtime Judge Hogg by a margin of nearly 2-1. Less than a year later, on November 22nd, 1992, Collins was arrested by Kentucky State Police at his home near Blackie and charged with accepting $7,000 and drugs to influence the outcome of a criminal case. God, this is wild. Wild, I tell you. Collins resigned from office in February of 1993 and 6 months later was sentenced to 5 years in prison after pleading guilty to 1 count of accepting a bribe from James Mosley Braddock of... There you go. Collins served 6 years as Letcher District Judge before he was elected Circuit Judge. Okay. So, taking bribes with drugs, someone's been around, all right? Someone's been around. So again, I wanted to take us back a little bit here to 2000, like I said, to an article that was written in 2010, but even taking us back to the 1990s, early 1990s, when these judges who were in office taking drugs and bribes with cash to literally affect the outcome of a criminal case. All right. next. So then let's take a look at this then. All right. Then I wanted to look into so we have the Commonwealth Attorney. I went to the page where you can like look up all these, peeps, their pictures, and it says what they do. And so I wanted to take a look at the Commonwealth Attorney back in that day was James Wiley Craft, Craft. And I noticed that name is still present today, but it's I can't remember if it's like the second or junior or something. But back in the day, James Wiley Craft lost his license over the same stuff, but made a comeback as the mayor of Whitesburg, the county seat. So, what the fuck? Only after marrying a girl about half his age, who is now the sitting mayor. What? Yes. Okay. James Wiley's son, Jimmy Jr., is currently the circuit judge. Okay, now, in my last episode, I talked about Wilford Neese. Well, in an article, it showed you guys that Wilford's son died, and I told you guys I was going to find out whatever happened with that. Well, I found out what happened with that. Wilford's son, who was 23 at the time, he had a car accident, alleged car accident. He was up at a bar in Somerset, and somebody said, "Hey, your wife is banging your dad." And he said, "What?" And so he gets in his vehicle, takes off to go catch his dad in the act, and literally dies in a car accident on the way to go do that. That's how. So this Wilford Neese guy who taking girls over state lines, getting charged with it, like 12 and 14-year-olds, having sexual relations with them. His son died at a young age, 23, and I wanted to see why, how. Like, I wonder if it was drug, did he overdose? No. Neese, who owns all the oil, family home, yeah, filthy rich, but fucking disgusting. He's dead now. I want to find out how his son died. Well, his son died in a car accident, but he was on his way to go catch his dad in the act of banging his wife. All right? Facts. Take it to the bank. I would just love to know if somebody ran him off the road or what. Like, did he really get in a car wreck? It's kind of weird, you know? Yeah. So I wanted to see what was going on ever since the judge got into office to the time of now. Like, what's been going on? Because clearly, not the judge, the sheriff, because clearly the sheriff has been in office, it was like 12 years, I think. But Mickey Steins started and was elected in 2018. All right. So, I wanted to look into that gap from, okay, well, what happened since Steins got in and started being the sheriff? You know? Well, Well, the prosecutor was never coming to work. Prosecutor wasn't coming to work. Let me pull up this article here. All right, so this is from 2024, July. A lot of opiate abuse, a lot of, I mean, just what's with all this, what's with all these older guys having sex with 10, 12, 14-year-olds? What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? So I came across another nurse. So I'm going to share this on screen. Ex-nurse is among 17 named in indictments. July 3rd, 2024. So remember the incident that happened with Pratt over here. Her issues, 2023. And I'm going to read off a couple. I'm going to show you guys a couple of things with that one more time. But really quick here. A registered nurse whose license was already suspended after a previous arrest has been indicted by the Letcher County grand jury on charges of possession of methamphetamine and endangering the welfare of her minor child. Brumbach is one of 17 persons named in felony indictments the grand jury handed up last week to Letcher Circuit Judge James W. Kraft II. See? Among others named in this indictment are 23-year-old Pert Creek man charged in one of two cases involving Brumbach. One of two cases, okay? And a 57-year-old Jenkins man who is accused of sexually abusing a minor child 12 years old. You guys, this is just like repetitive. It keeps going on and on. Like stuff that was going on back then. It's just history's repeating itself. Okay. And but the difference is were people starting to get indicted? Were people starting to get indicted? Were people starting to get in trouble? Brumbach, whose nursing license was suspended by the Kentucky Department of Nursing in April, is named in two separate indictments. The first degree possession of the controlled substance methamphetamine. So I went through this, right? And I wanted to get how this all happened. Listen to what they were doing. So here they are on 6/7/2024, around the time of 8:30 p.m. I attempted to stop a black motorcycle on Highway 119 North. Brumbach was a passenger on the motorcycle that fled from an area. I chased them to this location near Jenkins before the driver wrecked on a bike. Brumbach was carrying a black bag that was part way open on her back. I saw small baggies that, from my experience, are used for drug trafficking. After a continued search of the bag, I located a green scale that had a crystal-like substance on the pad that closely resembled methamphetamine. What's up, Sleuthy Goosey? In a separate arrest citation, so she's on the back of a motorcycle with a backpack full of baggies to, like, let's go sell our shit. All right. somebody called then because they said that she was endangering her children. And so this next part and paragraph are about that. Now I want to take a look at this right here, though. Right here. So, due to prosecutors' inability to attend court, I had to stop and I said, oh my God, wait, what? Well, look at this shit. Ready? The Jenkins man charged with sexual abuse. See that? Who was charged with 5 counts of first-degree sexual abuse involving a victim under 12 years old. The indictment against Gross, which the grand jury returned after hearing testimony from Kentucky State Trooper Jason Bates, is the second charging him with first-degree sexual abuse. The first indictment was returned in late September of 2021 and involves an alleged victim who was then less than 10 years old. Gross had been scheduled to stand trial on that charge last August, but court records say the trial had to be continued. They weren't having trials. They weren't having court because this fat fuck, all right? You understand? Whoever the fuck was supposed to be having court, you're not having court, and then so these bastards are then doing what? Out and about? Doing what? Remember my last episode, I told you guys how what's his dick was never showing up for work, never having court, because they were never having court because the prosecutor wasn't showing up to dates. Okay? Well, here's the judge that would be overseeing stuff like this, or who's overseeing this shit? Who's over here just like, hey, yo, what are you doing? What do you mean you're just not showing up? Due to prosecutors' inability to attend court. You got to be kidding me. So on May 24th, Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman appointed Assistant Attorney General Barbara Maines to prosecute the case as co-counsel to then Letcher Commonwealth Attorney Banks. So Banks says, oh, I had a heart attack. Oh, I can't go to work. Oh, but what? Unbelievable. But he did it in September of 2021 and then did it again. So the Jennings man that was charged with the sexual abuse, the Gross guy, right? If you look, you'll see that when he was just indicted, it was to something else other than his 2021 indictment of when he was diddling a 10-year-old or younger. And that was right around the same time that that Banks said he got his heart attack and he couldn't work and all this bullshit. So then right here, the indictment against Gross, which the grand jury returned after hearing testimony from that trooper, is the second charging him with the first-degree sexual abuse. The first indictment was returned in late September of 2021 and involves an alleged victim who was less than 10 years old. Gross had been scheduled to stand trial on that charge last August, but guess what? Court records say that trial had to be continued due to prosecutors' inability to attend court. So then you have to it's very easy to understand that this guy, Gross, he was out. So while he's waiting to have this trial from his September of 2021 bullshit, he's out and about, can't have his trial because prosecutors aren't showing up, and then just gets indicted here in 2024 for the same shit. But this time, hey, it's a 12-year-old instead of a 10-year-old. The fuck? So going back and looking how history, I believe, would repeat itself was Banks just not showing up for like a reason? Okay. Again, guys, after COVID, you can do things remotely. So why isn't he there remotely? Why isn't he using Zoom? And then this is what got me on this whole like, wait a second. Who's the magistrate? Like, who are there magistrates in Kentucky? Like, what the fuck is up? Because I swear, but guess what? It's not like how it is in Ohio. Magistrates are different. Because I said, who are the magistrates in Letcher County? And that's where I came across this guy named McCall. And the reason I want to talk about him is because I thought it was really interesting. So let me get this. Duties of elected county officials. I was like, to hell with this. I'm going straight to see what the hell is going on around here. Who's in charge? Like, what is going on in that town? Okay. So I go, because I wanted to take a look at this lovely shit. Justices of the peace, baby magistrates, and the county commissioners, the fiscal court. They are just in charge of the fiscal court. Magistrates, it's not like, you guys, it's not like, so I had to say, oh God, I have to like brush up on my, my government class from 12th grade. Like, what's up, Kentucky? Like, what do we got going on here? And I was like, so I said, well, let me see chapter 2 here. Cause I swear they broke it down to what, and I was like, what the fuck what does a magistrate do in this town? And okay. Well, first, let's go like this. I noticed that District 5, he didn't have his picture there. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And I was like, I'll just go look him up. So here is Magistrate McCall, Chief Workforce Officer at Mountain MCHC. And I was like, what the fuck? I thought he was a magistrate. The magistrates are over roads in Kentucky. I know. Wait till you get to this. And they can like do marriage and shit. Okay. So I was like, okay, well, I wanted to take a look into this because I was just curious. So I was like, okay. Because I was like, oh, he's a good looking dude, you know? And then I was like, okay, what's his about section? Like, come on, he's got to talk about being a magistrate at least a little bit. Nope. He talks about all this shit that he does with his other jobs, right? And then it gets down to here, it says, oh, additionally, I am privileged to serve a second term as magistrate, further dedicating myself to the welfare and development of our community. I said, wait a second. I went through all of his shit. I was like, he doesn't even put that, like, that he even does that. You know, like, way to be proud of being a magistrate. You don't even, like, tell anybody. Like, oh, additionally, right here, I am a privilege to serve a second term as magistrate, further dedicating myself to the welfare and development of our community. Well, I said, I have to look into this whole salary thing because, like I said, then it's not even like on here. And I want to know the positions that he held. So then I came to this because I was like, how much should people be getting paid to do that? You know? And they said that I mean, here, let's see. print. I'll print this one. Print that one. I thought I already printed these. All right. First one. All right. This is what it's supposed to look like normal. All right. When $3,600 is what you usually get if it's a part-time position in Kentucky, that's like normal. Is it's like $300 a month. They attend 2 meetings a month. Okay. So like that's like a norm, like that would be like, okay. And then you're allowed to have like an expense account. Right. And so I was like, okay, so 3,600, then 2021 Letcher County Magistrate 300. I was like, okay, maybe that was like an expense account. Letcher County Magistrate 300. Okay, okay, so I was like, all right, let's take a look at this. McCall, bus driver. He's a fucking bus driver too. $15,622 from the Jenkins Independent School District for bus driver. Then 2019 Letcher County Public School District. Like, was he a coach? Did he get like a stipend to be like an athletic coach or something? 2017 bus driver. Kentucky Community and Technical College System Administrative Assistant 2020. And I'm just like, wait a second. I said, what's he making now? And I said, okay, here's somebody. Here's some. I said, wow. McCall, when he was first asked to be on as a magistrate, he got like 1,000 votes, whatever. I don't know. Nobody really votes on magistrates, I guess. But, all I'm going to be asking for is, in putting down that I made, is $3,600. Let's let the folks of Letcher County know that, like, I'm not taking our money. Okay, like, this is totally something part-time. We have 2 meetings a month. I just oversee and just help out with, like, hey, where do we think we should be spending money, budgeting, stuff like that. You need no law degree to be a magistrate in Kentucky. You basically, like I said, it's a part-time job. Until you, in 2021, Benny McCall here, was employed at Letcher County and had a reported pay of $23,379 according to the public records. This pay was 247% higher than the average. And it's like, wait a second. In 2019, you just got $3,600, like your $300 a month because you went to 2 meetings a month. But then all of a sudden, poof, 2021, you got paid to be a magistrate $23,379, which would tell me that you like, oh wow, you were working all of this, like, whoa, I'm working a lot type of thing. And it was the same amount of money in 2023. It was, $24,000 in 2000. And then I looked up William Smith C., who is another magistrate, and whoo, in 2023, look at that. And this is 267% higher than the average. And that's, yeah, I mean, I don't know what, but I don't know where all that money and what they're doing, but must have been a lot of potholes that year. I don't know. Then, you guys, this is wild shit. I'm just like, dude, people are ratting each other out because then Benny ratted on the old, I don't know, mayor or some shit and was like, you filled your driveway. You filled your driveway with pavement, asphalt that we were supposed to be using somewhere else. And then you paid somebody money, the check bounced. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, there's people raping people. And they're talking about potholes and asphalt money. You guys, it's wild. It's wild. Magistrate. This is what you're supposed to be doing. This is justice of the peace. It's the same thing, same words, like interchangeable. So take a look at this. I was like, I just wanted to know like, what's going on. So I got my background of it. I was like, you know what? Let me just get a... Did you... All right. So then I went ahead and looked at this and I was like, okay, let's just take a look at compensation. And I'm like, okay, if they have what? You're going to divide this up by 4 or 5 magistrates because the max amount of money that we can give out is $92,659.66. So that's compensation. The max that we can in our budget we can give out is that amount of money. That's just the max. But you're like, there's rules about it. Like this is supposed to be part-time, and you know, right here, the Attorney General has cautioned that in counties where the justices of the peace work only part-time in their official capacity, they may not qualify for the rubber dollar maximum salary, that the compensation of magistrates should be adjusted accordingly to the number of hours devoted to county business, blah, 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 blah. Who's clocking any of this shit? Who? So, so I just put in a request. I put in a request. I want to know how. I just want to know Mr. McCall's like what he did in what he's done from 2021 to 2024 in terms of give me his clocked hours. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand what the fuck these people are doing. They are fiscal. They're about fiscal court. Fuck the fiscal court. You guys, how's the clock? I have no idea. But I couldn't believe when I saw that. I mean, Benny doesn't talk about him being a bus driver here. The chief workforce officer. Before that, for 10 months, he was the workforce development officer or coordinator. Before that, he was admissions coordinator for 2 years and 10 months. I mean, I can keep on going. I should look and see how often he's changing his job, actually. Somebody climbing right on up that ladder. I don't know when he would find the time to be the bus driver, though. Hold on. Yeah, the court is comprised of 5 magistrates, 1 from each district. Yeah, I understand that. And so let me see some. Okay, so before that, then, okay, administrative manager at Lowe's. What the fuck? Administrative manager at Lowe's? I'll print this. Hold on one second. I don't know, just things will just pop out to me that I think are just interesting. And I'm like, okay, so he's an administrative manager at Lowe's from 2005 to 2011. Then he's the chief administrative officer of City of Jenkins from 2011 to 2020. Okay. Then he leaves Jenkins after 9 years and 5 months. He's the administrative officer of Jenkins, leaves there to go to admissions coordinator, SKCTC, 2 years, 10 months. Then workforce development coordinator. (2023, 2024). This is the heart of when all this shit was going on. The shit that was coming up to bite everybody in the ass now. 2019 to 2022. I don't see anywhere on here that he was a bus driver, though. I'm just wondering. Do you think it's at all possible that they were just writing people checks for doing shit that they just didn't do, but we have budget money here so we can give it to you there? I have no idea. I just don't see where Benny would have any time to be a bus driver. Bus drivers, I mean, you have to have certain licenses to drive those buses. I'll tell you that. Again, this could just be nothing, but I just happened to notice because I wanted to know what was going on with, and I was like, wow, that's a pretty big jump, to make 3,600 to then, okay, boom, 24,000 for doing what? I mean, here, get that magistrate position. We're going to give you the 24,000. It doesn't matter if the license isn't hard to get or not. I don't think that matters. I think the time, being a bus driver in the after school, that's way earlier than your 9 to 5 would allow you to then, hey, I can do this after I get off work, Yeah, he doesn't drive around. People call, they put stuff in. Here, I'll show you guys this one article. I just died. Magistrate is a position that requires very few hours. Exactly. 100%. 100%. Based on what they do in Kentucky, yeah, absolutely. Based on this area, fuck. I mean, so I went ahead and I was just like, let me see something. And I was like, wow. There was where is it? Bus driver is part-time. Magistrate is very few hours. I live in Kentucky. Absolutely. But he has a full-time job. He has a full-time job. Okay. I don't know when somebody would have time to, when you're doing this, you know, these jobs that are full-time jobs, that you can go and drive a bus and exactly, you're working like minimal hours. You have 2 meetings a month for your magistrate position, and $3,600 is, if you have to be doing a lot to be pulling in this. So we're in 2021 when he was working full time and apparently a bus driver. It's just interesting where you find where money is kind of going, where, okay, he got employed and reported paid $23,000. And that's 247% higher than the average. But in 2000, he could easily work nights or evenings at Lowe's, drive a bus in the early AM for 2 hours. Yep, he totally could. Except he wasn't working at Lowe's in 2021, honey. He was right here at the admissions coordinator position. So I'd be happy to answer all of your Jeffrey Howard questions. I didn't come on here to blow smoke up your guys' ass, but this is where he worked during that time period, which is 2020 to 2023. 2019, he made $3,600 for his position. Then after that, it was $23,000 plus per year, plus these other positions. Which is this says this. I don't think that's right. What else do we got? That's just why I said, well, let's just do a FOIA request. We'll see if these numbers are right and accurate. Bus driver 2017, bus driver 2020, and this is during COVID. Okay, COVID, no schools from March, okay, until June. Nation pandemic. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just trying to add some things to consider. You are doing a great job. Oh, Jeffrey, no, I appreciate this type of stuff. This is how we do it. I'm over here just like, what's this? Why is this businessman? Why does this businessman have all these like weird pays coming from the county? This administrative assistant, Kentucky Community and that's the KC and TC system. Like that's written right here. SKCTC. So look at that. Admissions coordinator, SKCTC. I'm guessing that's that. But there's no way that he did that for a living. Okay. In 2020 to 2023. Okay. Making $5,425 in 2020. There's no way that he just did that. You know what I'm saying? And then he was the chief administrative officer. So he came from Jenkins, 2011, 2020. I was just looking at, you have done so much work to bring truth and transparency to this. I'm just looking at like who the heck was around. You have such a small community. Who was in and out of that building? Who could know what's going on? You know, once it's just like if everybody's for themselves, okay, if you guys are going to do all this shit, well, I'm putting my hand in the cookie jar too, and I'll fucking I oversee all this money. I know where the budgets are. I can cut myself a check from that area, this area, this area, this area, this area, this area. I can get a little. This is how I can get paid, and I can do all. You know, was that something that was going on, or was this guy just like, hey, I guess I'll have to be the bus driver, run a full-time job though. But he came from Jennings, okay, to then go to Whitesburg. And literally when he gets there, I mean, I don't want to like be putting this all on this man because I'm not. I'm saying literally he goes to Whitesburg and it freaking just starts turning to shit. It's like, boom. So, and I'm thinking maybe he can like bring some light to like, yeah, dude, I was there a bunch, doing what I was supposed to be doing. As you guys can see, I was barely making any money in what I was doing, and I had my regular full-time job. And so, but I can at least say that, yeah, nobody was ever there, and nobody was like, I had to look at me. I had to do all these positions because nobody was going to work. I don't know. I'm just like, there you go, Matthew. Ask him. Dial him up. Give him a call. But Benny misses a ton of the fiscal court meetings. That's his only damn job to go to those things. Did you ask him where he's been? Did you see what his salary was in 2023? Do you know what he made in 2023? From his part-time 2 meetings a week job. And then who's this guy? This is another one of your guys' magistrates. William Smith C. Same thing. I mean, he better be fucking like, woo, going balls deep. I mean, look at how much money he just pulled in from you guys in 2023. $24,898. And I'm telling you guys, there is nothing to do. Matthew says, no, he just doesn't show up. I mean, he just doesn't show up. That's the magistrate salary. Yeah, that's what Benny got. Here's Benny. Benny has the same thing. I just pulled his 2021 up. I can go pull his 2023 up, but Benny reported. Here you go. There you go, Benny. No, it isn't a hard position. Truly isn't. But Benny, 2021, was employed at Letcher County and had a reported pay of. And here, I'll pull up his magistrate salary. Oh, what the hell? I was just like, they always say, follow the money, man. Follow the money. So I just started looking into everybody's money. And I'll tell you why. Because he got all up in this mayor's ass about, and I thought it was hilarious. I really need to find it. I thought I had it right here. Right here. Got it. New Jenkins mayor says he doesn't owe bounce check money. And then here's all right, I'll print it. This is too good. This is why I was just like, wait, what? This is out of 2015. You guys, wild shit. Like Jenkins City Administrator Benny McCall points to the spot where the blacktop laid down 2 years ago ends and the dirt road leading to the home of Mayor Todd begins. And I'm just like, Todd DePriest. Look at this. He calls him out on some shit about that. Yeah, wild shit. Stupid. But here, let's reminisce over this article. This is crazy. All right, so this is going to take us to 2015. So right here is the new Jenkins mayor, Todd DePriest, and he stands next to what he calls a skirt of blacktop that was laid down 2 years ago in an area after water line construction on December 3rd, 2012. DePriest wrote the city of Jenkins a check for $13.87 for a stretch of blacktop that was put down. I can't even see that. Put that on a private driveway leading to his home on Lucky Hill. The check was later returned by the bank for non-sufficient funds and has never been paid. DePriest now says he doesn't know the money. And so, meanwhile, people are literally, yes, Matthew, yes. Kevin was the district judge. That is correct. I understand that. I totally understand that. I'm just trying to show what the fuck is going on across the board. Okay, these people all talk. They all socialize, no? I know they do it here. Can't imagine that they wouldn't do it there. All right. So, again. So, despite being mayor of the city of Jenkins for only 2 weeks, Todd DePriest is already facing one unusual item of old business, a $1,387 cold check he wrote to pay the city for blacktop more than 2 years ago. And I'm like, where did this even come from? Why is this even a thing? So then we get to, so there's the check that was bounced. And then right here, Mayor Kinser shouldn't have sent the check through to begin with, said new city administrator Benny McCall, who was present for the interview. McCall, the city's revenue officer at the time the check was written and returned, was promoted to his new job after DePriest took office last week. So he gets, according to the incident report obtained by the Eagle, Kinser was informed on December 1st, 2012 that blacktop purchased by the city had been placed on a road controlled by DePriest. The report said that on the next day, a Sunday, that, hey, something, they drove over to question the location, and it was Lucky Hill Road, and determined that some blacktop had been placed improperly on private property, says the report. But on Monday morning at approximately 11 a.m., the mayor contacted city attorney Randall Tackett and Kentucky League of Cities, chanting for advice on how to handle the situation. Are you fucking kidding me? Who gives a fuck how to handle the situation? This is what's taking up all your precious time? Is this $1,300 check? God forbid we handle from fucking sexual predators, but we, by God, are going to get to the bottom of this $1,300 check and where the hell and what the hell and what's going on. Jesus Christ. You know, but hey, we don't have prosecutors showing up and, you know, nailing scumbags that are abusing our kids. But God damn it, we're going to find out where that $1,300 is and why it even happened that way. You guys, it's wild. This is how I came across Benny. I was like, oh, Benny's got a good eye. Good, he caught something, right? Mickey was experiencing some sort of psychosis. He thought people were after him. He thought his house was bugged. Probably was. I mean, when you see $250,000 homes in these poor counties, it ain't from working at McDonald's. It wasn't. How do you know? Why wouldn't the feds be involved? I mean, we're talking about rings of child trafficking and human trafficking and sex trafficking. We're talking about some serious shit. They do tap phones. If the feds are involved, they will tap phones. But I think their priorities are pretty screwed as well. But at least they're not looking for rubber duckies like Canton, Massachusetts, so that's a plus. He didn't even live at his house? Here, I will invite. Here, just hit the link and you can tell us what you think. I'm all for it. We want to hear from the people. Yeah. There's the link. If you hit it, you can come on the panel. We would love to hear from people that actually have information. I think it's you can be on your laptop. It works. And you don't even have to. Yep. If you hit the link, then you can it brings you right backstage. Yep. You don't have to come on camera as long as you have audio. Leanna, I love your passion for these cases and your choice of wording. Thank you. I my. Anyways, we had to just track down that $1,300. You guys, at issue is whether an 11-foot wide by 178-foot long strip of blacktop that is 1 1/4 inches deep, the amount of blacktop DePriest's check was intended to pay for, was applied to the end of the road as a favor to DePriest, or instead put down by the paving company to repair property damages by the contractor H2O construction of Pikeville caused while it was installing the water lines. DePriest says that the road leading to his home is actually owned by the neighbor. Oh, there we go. I am behind on videos. McCall worked at tech school, yes, and drove the bus that picks up between tech school and regular school. Thank you. Woohoo! We got it. Yes. All right, perfect. So that was when he was involved at so is that when he took his job here? See? Jenkins City. Karen, woohoo! Karen for the win. See, we just start talking about stuff. This is how everything gets solved. Amazing. Perfect. How was it in that area about Democratic versus Republican? Because I noticed that Mickey, he ran as a Democrat. Was that a problem? That's really all I know is facts anyways. The rest would just be personal speculation. I ain't about that. Oh, good job, Matt. I appreciate that. There you go. Okay. Well, then going back to, everyone hit that thumbs up. Thank you there. Going then back to, in case anybody wants to know what the fiscal courts are, though, you can find those located right here on page 29 of that little pamphlet you guys can download. Take a screenshot of that. I mean, literally, when you look at like this stuff, like what you're doing. I mean, on page 29, you can check all that out. This is really what it says. It says regulation levy taxes, control of animal and abatement of public nuisances, regulation of public gatherings, public sanitation, and vector control. I really wanted to know. I really wanted to know what was going on and what magistrates do there. And I was like, oh my God, they can marry people though. It's a small town. They were having some marital difficulties. Well, I'm sure it'll all come out. But to close out this segment, I wanted to keep it right around an hour. It does need to be talked about that power of attorney was gained by Pratt and her mother over Banks. Let me know what you think. So how this could have ever happened that there it is. Taylor Pratt moves into his house. She wasn't living on like a different part of the property in a different house. Moves in, attempts to throw his mom out of the house, who was helping take care of him. She's then driving around his Tahoe, not once, but at least on 2 occasions where she is pulled over for excessive speeding and then found, drugs and what have you. Arrested, and then when Mickey was asked about it and why what's going on with this, how was this dropped by the Bell prosecutor? A special prosecutor was assigned, and then they agreed with they just dropped this case. And Mickey was trying to find out about this, and he didn't have any answers. And the prosecutor and Bell, they weren't returning any calls. This is all alleged, and it's just like, I was in jail with her. She doesn't look like that in person. Do you want to talk about your experience? Here you go. If you want to hit the link, you can talk about your experience in person. There you go. Oh God, hopefully you're doing okay. Matthew says, but this is all good information. That is so true. Do I have 2 people? I mean, I think 2 people will know. I think people have been covering things up in that town for a long time, though. No, thank you. I got to live here. I don't blame you. Feel free to email me. There you go. I keep people anonymous. The Mind Challenge at Gmail. Thank you. All right, guys, I'll be back a little bit later. Want to say thanks, Letcher County, Banks and Pratt. I know that this case has been turned over. Everything that Pratt has done, hasn't done, power of attorney, all that stuff. It is being handled right now by an agency because of what this alleged getting power of attorney over Banks. So wild shit. Yep. Come back and join me here about 8:30 Eastern Standard. If you're following the Brian Drake, Who Killed Brian Drake case, some bombshells there. But the big bombshell here was Pratt and her mom getting power of attorney over Banks. So until next time, guys, thank you so much.